Corellian hotshot, a smuggler with a checkered past, and the captain of one of the sleekest freighters in the galaxy, Dash Rendar, half hero, half scoundrel, helped shape the Star Wars saga in ways most fans have forgotten. Welcome back to the Cantina. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, grab some coffee, and let's dive in. Dash Rendar. Today we explore his backstory, his iconic role in the shadows of the Empire, and the legacy of the man who rivaled Han Solo in swagger, skill, hairstyle, and sheer recklessness. Born on Corellia, a planet famous for its ace pilots and fast ships, Dash Rendar was destined for a life among the stars. His family owned a lucrative shipping business, competing directly with the Empire's industrial powerhouses. But everything changed when Dash's older brother, Stanton, was involved in a tragic accident at the Imperial Academy, one that destroyed an Imperial shipyard. The Empire didn't just punish Stanton, they exiled the entire Rendar family from Corellian space, stripping them of their fortune and branding them enemies of the state. Forced to survive on his own, Dash turned to a life of smuggling. He quickly made a name for himself as a cocky but skilled pilot, taking dangerous jobs that often others wouldn't dare. It was during this time that he acquired his legendary ship. The Outrider, a Corellian-engineered Corporation YT-2400 freighter, became Dash's home and weapon of choice, but its origins are as thrilling as any of Dash's adventures. After a particularly dangerous smuggling job for the Hutts, one that ended with Dash barely escaping an Imperial ambush, his ship was damaged beyond repair. Stranded in the Outer Rim, Dash found himself in a shady starport controlled by rival criminal syndicates. With no credits to his name, he struck a deal with a desperate shipbuilder named Rickon Belai, whose debts to the Hutts were closing in. Rickon offered Dash the Outrider, an experimental prototype freighter he had secretly upgraded, on one condition: Dash had to smuggle Recton and his family off-world before the Hutts came to collect. In a harrowing escape through the Hutt-controlled space, Dash piloted the Outrider for the first time, outmaneuvering bounty hunters and Imperial patrols alike. Once safely out of reach, Rickon fulfilled his promise, signing over the Outrider to Dash. From that moment on, Dash began personalizing the ship with hidden compartments, reinforced shields, and powerful weaponry, transforming it into a freighter that could take on anything the galaxy threw at it. The Outlander wasn't just a ship, it was a symbol of Dash's resilience and resourcefulness, a ticket to freedom carved from desperation and cunning. Dash Rendar's most famous adventure unfolds in Shadows of the Empire, a story set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. With Han Solo frozen carbonite and the rebellion on the run, a new threat emerges: Prince Xizor, the ruthless, calculating leader of the Black Sun criminal syndicate. Xizor is a Feline, a reptilian humanoid species known for their charisma, pheromonal manipulation, and cold, calculating intellect. As the head of the Black Sun, the galaxy's most powerful crime syndicate, Xizor wielded influence over the criminals' underworld, rivaling even the Empire in its reach and resources. But Xizor isn't just a kingpin, he's an opportunist with an ambition that extends far beyond credits. He seeks to ingratiate himself to the Emperor by eliminating Darth Vader's influence, thereby positioning himself as the Emperor's most trusted confidant. That man really was ignorant. Like, do you even realize why? If you understood why they're after frustrations of reading the comics as a child. To achieve this, Xizor hatches a sinister plan: assassinate Luke Skywalker, the young Jedi who threatens the Empire's stability, and more importantly, Vader's connection to the Emperor. By killing Luke, Xizor hopes to discredit Vader, framing him as incapable of securing the Emperor's greatest prize. But Xizor's schemes are not purely political. He is driven by a personal vendetta against Vader. Who ordered the orbital bomb? That is a fucking tongue twister of a sentence. Who ordered the order?
At times like this, I guess all you can do is laugh.
Okay, let's try this again. Who ordered the order? Oh god. Who ordered the orbital? I can't say a sentence. Who ordered the orbital bomb? What the heck? Okay. All right, let's try this again. One more time. All right, where was I at? A personal vendetta against Vader. Who ordered the orbital bomb? Okay, this is getting ridiculous now. Who ordered the orbital? I can't. Why can I not say who ordered the orbital bombardment of failing decades? God, even saying it as straight up, I can't. I'm struggling. Who ordered the orbital? I struggle to say the word orbital. It makes me stutter again. I can't say the word orbital. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. All right. Who ordered the orbital bomb? God damn it. Who ordered the orbital bombardment of the failing? Who ordered the orbital bombardment of the failing decades earlier to contain a bioweapon outbreak? There, I did it. Holy crap. Okay, we got through it. The attack wiped out most of Xizor's family, leaving him to rebuild his power from the ashes. Xizor's hatred for Vader burned beneath his polished exterior, fueling his every move. When Leia hires Dash to assist the rebels, he reluctantly agrees, not out of loyalty to the rebellion, but for the hefty payday. His mission: protect Luke from Xizor's assassins and help infiltrate the Valyrian prince's criminal empire. As Xizor manipulates events from its palace on Coruscant, Dash becomes a key player in the rebel effort to dismantle Black Sun's operations. From daring infiltration missions to explosive dogfights in the Outrider, Dash proves himself indispensable. But true to form, he remains a wild card, equal parts charming and infuriating to Leia and the team. The conflict culminates in a high-stakes assault on Xizor's Skyhook, with Luke, Leia, and the rebels on one side, and Xizor's forces on the other. Dash risks it all to ensure the mission's success. Though he walks away with his payday, Dash also earns a place in the annals of Star Wars history, playing a pivotal role in defeating one of the galaxy's most dangerous masterminds. The climax of Shadows of the Empire sees Dash Rendar joining the rebel fleet in a daring assault on Xizor's Skyhook. As I said a moment ago, a heavy armed station orbiting Coruscant, with Han Solo still frozen in carbonite. Leia and Lando are busy rescuing him from Jabba the Hutt, but Dash's mission is far more perilous. With the rebellion forces on the line, it's up to Dash and the Outrider to take out the Skyhook's key defense, clearing the path for the rebels to strike. But Dash, ever the wild card, goes above and beyond, taking on more than just the station's defenses. He calculated the risk, making him an invaluable ally to the rebellion, though as always, remains on his own terms. As the battle rages on, Dash pushes the Outrider to its limits, weaving through enemy fire as he delivers the final blow to the Skyhook's defenses. The station begins to crumble, and Dash finds himself in the thick of explosions. When the Skyhook finally crumbles to the rebellion attack, everyone assumes the Outrider and Dash himself has been destroyed in the blast. A hero's death, fitting for someone who lived as recklessly as he did. But as any smuggler worth his salt knows, appearances can be deceiving. Dash, always the trickster, had faked his own death in the chaos. The Outrider was left in ruins, but Dash was not slipping away from the rebellion spotlight. He disappeared into the galaxy. While we might not know exactly what Dash did after the Skyhook, looking at his nature, we can imagine a few possibilities. Dash's instinct for survival and freedom would never let him fade into obscurity. It's easy to imagine him slipping back into the criminal underworld, navigating the Outrider's lawless sectors and taking up dangerous high-paying jobs. With his knack for getting in and out of trouble, he probably became the go-to smuggler for those who needed to disappear, or for those brave enough to take on the Empire's leftovers. Maybe he went back to running missions for the Smuggler's Syndicate, or perhaps he took advantage of the power vacuum left by the fall of the Black Sun, swooping in to make a name for himself as the galaxy's most elusive rogue. Or maybe Dash found himself on the run from the remnants of the Empire, who knew there was more to the story than anyone realized. The bounty on his head could have only grown as the galaxy's powers began to regroup. Perhaps he crossed paths with others from the Legends universe, guys like Kyle Katarn, other smugglers turned hero who lived in the fringes of the galaxy's biggest battles. Could Dash have joined him on some covert missions, It's not hard to imagine, and together they could have caused some serious damage for the remnants. But what if Dash, like Han Solo, just wanted to retire? Maybe after all those adventures, after playing a key role in the rebellion's victory, he could have found a quiet place in the Outer Rim to lay low. That's the thing with Dash Rendar. His story is left up to the imagination, and while we may never get to see his future, it's fun to wonder. One thing's for sure though, Dash Rendar wasn't going down without a fight, and he wasn't going to let anyone define his fate. He wrote his own legend, and while Shadows of the Empire was just a chapter in that tale, it's a chapter that lives in the hearts of fans forever. Dash Rendar's story is more than just an adventure. It's a cornerstone of Shadows of the Empire, a groundbreaking multimedia project that included novels, comics, and even a Nintendo 64 game. While he's often compared to Han Solo, Dash's arc highlights a different kind of hero, one who walks the line between selflessness and sacrifice. Though Dash was relegated to legends after Disney's acquisition of Star Wars, his ship, the Outrider, is still canon, as it made a brief cameo in A New Hope Special Edition, a subtle nod to the smuggler who had once stood shoulder to shoulder with the rebellion's finest. A difference between George Lucas and Disney. George embraced what the fans came up with, or what his other departments had come up with, always supporting and building on his canon. Disney comes along and just says screw everything. In many ways, Dash's legacy parallels that of Kyle, the cornerstone of the Dark Forces series. Like Dash, Kyle was a fan-favorite hero whose daring exploits defined an era of storytelling. And like Dash, Kyle has been relegated to the Legends Vault, seemingly forgotten by those who steer the franchise today. Two extraordinary characters, both embodying the grit and heroism fans cherish, yet both left behind. But if Disney won't bring them back, perhaps it's up to us, the fans, to reclaim their stories and take over canon for ourselves. Dash Rendar may not be as famous as Han Solo or Luke Skywalker, but his contributions to the Star Wars saga are undeniable. A smuggler, a survivor, and an unexpected hero, Dash reminds us that even the most unlikely figures can change the course of history. What I personally love about Dash is that he gives us a chance to see a Han Solo-esque character, but with a slightly different motivation. While Han came to realize he had to do something beyond make money, Dash's journey feels more grounded in morality. From the start, it is as if deep down Dash knew the difference between right and wrong, even when he tries to shrug it off as just business. In the end, he too found himself making sacrifices for something bigger than himself. And let's not forget that Han's love for Leia was ultimately his undoing, a testament to his emotional depth beyond all that swagger. I love to see Dash Rendar return to Star Wars canon. There's so much potential for his character to shine, especially with today's storytelling tools. I'm also eagerly looking forward to seeing him in Mike and Nate's Dark Forces 2 series. I'll be fascinated to see who is cast as him, who will bring him to life, who can truly capture Dash Rendar's swagger mixed with heart. It won't be easy. It's not just about the looks, it's also about the voice, the humor, the body language, which are absolutely critical to his character. Honestly, at the end of the day, I just want to see Dash brought in and used a lot more in the Star Wars universe. That's all I have for you today. If you've enjoyed this lore, consider subscribing. It's a small thing you can do and it helps the channel out a lot. As always, to remind you, I am not AI, this is just my voice. That's why I leave silly things in like the bloopers once in a while. And don't forget, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on more lore and eventually the Dark Forces 2 series.